Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we're going to tackle a question we know is on many of your minds. Is Pfizer a good time to buy right now? Our goal here is to really sift through the analysis, the numbers, the company's moves, and give you a clear picture of where Pfizer stands today and what its future might look like so you can feel well informed. And hey, if you find this helpful, please do subscribe, like, comment, maybe even consider buying us a coffee. It really helps support these kinds of in-depth looks. Okay, so let's unpack Pfizer. What's the sort of immediate picture? The stock is currently trading around $25.20. This is as of July 2025, which is, well, it's pretty close to its 52-week low of $20.92. But on the flip side, it's shown some decent momentum recently. A 17.86% year-to-date return isn't bad at all. What really jumps out at me, though, looking at these numbers, is that dividend yield. 6.82%. That's pretty significant, isn't it? What's driving that?
Oh, absolutely. That dividend yield, it definitely commands attention, especially in this market. When we look a bit deeper into Pfizer's financial performance, their 2024 revenue hit $63.6 billion. That's a 7% increase year over year. But what's really critical to understand, I think, is that if you strip out the COVID products, which were, a huge but temporary factor, their operational revenue growth was actually an impressive 12%.
12%. Okay.
Yeah.
So the core business is growing nicely.
Exactly. Now, for Q1 2025, total revenues were $13.7 billion. They're down about 7.8% year over year. But this was expected. It's really just the anticipated drop in COVID product sales as part of their planned transition. And despite that revenue dip, profitability in Q1 remained strong. Gross margin over 79%, operating margin above 32%, net profit margin over 21%. These are healthy numbers. And importantly, they generated $9.8 billion in free cash flow in 2024. That's, real cash after everything's paid for. A good sign of strength.
Those margins and that cash flow sound positive. But for a company this size, the balance sheet is always key. How are they doing on debt? Are they carrying a lot, or are they looking pretty resilient?
Pfizer's balance sheet is quite solid, actually, and they've been making some smart moves. They managed to cut their total debt by 10.2% year over year, brought it down to $63.6 billion from about $70.8 billion in 2023. That's a meaningful reduction.
Okay, that's good to see.
And they maintain strong liquidity, too, holding $20.5 billion in cash and short-term investments. That gives them a cushion, flexibility. Their debt-to-equity ratio also improved from 0.80 down to 0.72. So a healthier structure, less reliant on debt compared to equity. The current ratio is 1.17. That means, well, slightly more liquid assets than short-term debts. It's stable, if not spectacular. And their interest coverage ratio is quite strong at 7.7 times. They can easily cover their interest payments, which is important given the debt level. Net debt after cash stands at $43.2 billion.
Okay, so financial health looks pretty decent, especially with that focus on reducing debt. But, the big question for anyone thinking of buying is always valuation. Is the stock actually cheap right now?
This is where it gets quite interesting. The current valuation ratios do suggest it might be undervalued. For instance, its trailing price-to-earnings ratio, the PE, is 18.1 times. That's very close to the industry average, around 17.5x, and the healthcare sector average of 18x. So not screamingly cheap based on past earnings. However, the forward PE, looking at expected earnings, is much lower. It's down at 9.07 times.
9 times? That's quite a drop. What does that imply?
Well, it strongly suggests the market is expecting earnings to grow significantly from here, making the stock look much cheaper based on future potential. And what's even more compelling, perhaps, are the different valuation models. Discounted cash flow, or DCF models, which try to estimate intrinsic value. Well, they show a really wide range for Pfizer. One DCF model estimates a fair value way up at $70.18.
$70? Wow, compared to $25 now.
Right. But then another model values it much lower at $34.62.
Okay, hold on. That's a massive difference. $70 versus $34. How can two models be so far apart? What's driving that?
It's a great question. It really highlights the uncertainty around Pfizer right now. The difference comes down mainly to assumptions. Assumptions about, future revenue growth, how quickly new drugs will ramp up, and especially how successfully their R&D pipeline delivers. The $70 estimate is, frankly, very optimistic. It assumes their new products, particularly in oncology, rapidly replace lost COVID revenue and overcome patent expirations. The $34 model is much more conservative. It probably factors in more risk from that upcoming patent cliff, maybe slower growth from the pipeline.
So it tells us the market itself is grappling with these uncertainties.
Precisely. The current price suggests the market is leaning towards the more conservative view. But if you believe in their strategy and execution, even that lower $34 figure suggests decent upside from $25. The higher one implies a huge discount.
Okay, so a complex valuation picture. Given that range and uncertainty, what are the professional analysts saying? Where do their price targets sit?
The consensus view from 15 analysts is currently a moderate buy. Their average 12-month price target is $29.17. That would be about a 15.6% upside from where the stock is now. But again, there's a range reflecting that uncertainty. The targets go from a low of $23, which is below the current price, up to a high of $35. Still generally pointing upwards, though.
15% upside on average.
Okay.
So lots of numbers suggesting potential value. Let's step back from the financials for a second. How does Pfizer actually stack up in the, let's be honest, cutthroat pharmaceutical industry? What are its real competitive advantages?
Pfizer definitely holds a dominant position globally, and they've been making some very strategic moves lately. A really key one was acquiring Seagen back in December 2023. That instantly boosted their oncology capabilities in a big way. It made them a leader in something called antibody-drug conjugates, or ADCs. Think of them as like smart bombs for cancer, delivering potent drugs right to the tumor cells. It's a very hot area.
Right, ADCs are getting a lot of attention.
They are. And beyond that specific tech, Pfizer has a huge oncology portfolio already, over 25 approved medicines, covering more than 40 indications. Plus, they have that powerful vaccine franchise. Prevnar is still a blockbuster, and their newer RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, has significant potential. And they're diversified across other important areas too, like inflammation, immunology, and rare diseases. It gives them a broad base.
Okay, fundamentals, valuation, competitive position. It paints a picture of a strong company navigating a big shift. Let's switch gears to the technicals. What are the charts telling us about the stock's recent price action and trends?
Yeah, the technical picture right now is mixed, maybe leaning a bit bearish in the short term. The stock is currently trading below its key moving averages. That's the 20-day at $28.52, the 50-day at $27.76, and the longer-term 200-day MA at $28.22.
Below all the key averages, not usually a bullish sign.
No, it often suggests downward momentum. The RSI, the Relative Strength Index, is at 49.6. That's pretty neutral territory, not wildly oversold or overbought. But the MAD indicator, another momentum gauge, is showing a sell signal at modimal 0.16. However, it's not all negative. The stock has shown some stabilization recently. It found support around its 60-day low of $25.61. The key resistance level to watch on the upside is around $30.28. It needs to break above that to really signal a stronger trend change.
So technically a bit sluggish, waiting for a clearer signal perhaps. What about news flow and sentiment? Anything interesting happening with the company lately? Any notable insider moves?
Well, analyst sentiment, as we mentioned, is generally leaning positive with that moderate buy consensus. And the company did deliver some good news recently with earnings beats. Q1 2025 earnings per share came in at 92 cents, quite a bit better than the expected $1.67.
And that was driven by the core business.
Primarily, yes. Strong operational performance, if you exclude those declining COVID sales, shows the underlying business is performing. In terms of insider trading, activity has been pretty limited. There was about $414,000 in insider buying over the last 3 months. Not huge, but it's buying, not selling. No significant insider selling patterns have really emerged. Insider ownership overall is low, just 0.06%, which isn't unusual for such a large company.
Okay. Any major corporate developments?
Yes. A big one is their cost realignment program. They're targeting $5.7 billion in savings by 2027. That's a serious effort to boost efficiency and margins. They're also focusing on manufacturing optimization. And we did see that strong Q4 2024 operational growth of 21%, which provides some positive context.
So they're executing on cost savings, the core business beat expectations. The next question is, what could actually move the needle for the stock price? Are there any specific catalysts coming up soon or maybe longer term?
There were definitely several catalysts on the radar. Short term, say the next 6 to 12 months, the Q2 2025 earnings report is key. That's expected around August 5th. Another strong operational beat could help. We also just had the USCO Oncology Conference where Pfizer presented data from over 60 studies. Positive data readouts from their pipeline can generate excitement. And critically, there are multiple drug candidates in late-stage development awaiting FDA approval decisions. A surprise approval or even just hitting expected timelines can be a big boost.
And looking out further, say 1 to 3 years.
The major long-term story is navigating that patent cliff. The key catalyst will be demonstrating that their new products, especially in oncology, can successfully offset the revenue losses from drugs like Prevnar and Ibrance going off patent post-2027. They've set an ambitious target, 8 breakthrough cancer medicines by 2030. Hitting milestones towards that goal will be crucial. And then there's the ongoing expansion of their RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, into new patient groups and markets. That's another significant growth driver to watch.
Okay, lots of potential upside drivers. But every investment carries risk. We have to talk about the potential downsides. What are the main risk factors someone needs to weigh carefully with Pfizer?
The biggest one, without a doubt, is that patent cliff exposure. It's substantial. We're talking about drugs losing exclusivity between 2026 and 2030. Krivnar 13, for instance, brought in $6.4 billion. That's at risk in 2026. Ibrance, the cancer drug, $5 billion in revenue, faces generic competition in 2027.
That's huge potential impact.
It is. Potentially around $8 billion in annual revenue impact by 2027 combined. They absolutely need their new pipeline drugs to fill that gap. It's the central challenge. Beyond that, there are broader industry risks. Things like the Inflation Reduction Act in the U.S. It's expected to hit Pfizer for about $1 billion in revenue in 2025 alone. Plus, you always have intensifying generic competition and the inherent risk that promising drugs in the R&D pipeline might fail in late-stage trials or not get approved. That execution risk is real.
Any other risks?
Well, there are market and operational risks, too. The continued expected decline in COVID product revenue is still a factor. Foreign exchange headwinds can hurt international results, and there's always the potential for unexpected manufacturing issues or supply chain problems.
That's a sobering list of risks, especially the patent cliff. So bringing it all together, the solid financials, the debt reduction, the promising pipeline, but also the technical weakness and these significant risks. What's the bottom line? What's the overall recommendation here? Is Pfizer a buy now?
Okay, putting it all together. On a scale of 1 to 10, we'd rate Pfizer a 7. It really looks like a solid value opportunity, especially, I think, for investors focused on dividends and those with a longer-term horizon. The company is clearly navigating that post-COVID transition, and they seem to be doing it strategically with moves like the Seagen acquisition and the focus on cost savings. The fundamentals are strong, improving margins, debt reduction, good free cash flow, that's positive. The valuation, as we discussed, looks attractive by several measures, suggesting a discount to intrinsic value. And the pipeline, particularly in oncology, is a key strength. And you can't ignore that excellent 6.82% dividend yield, which seems well covered by their cash flow. That provides a nice income while you wait. So for long-term investors, think 3 years plus, the recommendation leans towards BUY. Their competitive strengths and pipeline potential seem to justify holding it for the long haul, and the dividend pays you to be patient. The patent cliff is a challenge, but it looks manageable if they execute well.
And for someone with a shorter time frame, maybe 6 to 12 months.
For short-term traders, it's probably more of a hold or maybe a cautious BY. The technicals, as we saw, aren't screaming buy now, suggesting limited immediate upside. But upcoming earnings or positive pipeline news could definitely provide catalysts. If you're looking to enter, the range between, say, $23 and $26 seems like a reasonable zone based on support levels and analyst lows. For risk management, maybe consider a stop loss around $22.50. On the upside, a conservative profit target could be $30, that's roughly 19% up. A more aggressive target, based on the higher analyst estimates, might be $35, which is closer to 39% potential upside.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Pfizer is clearly a giant in transition, adjusting course after the COVID whirlwind. Our analysis shows they're making smart strategic plays, acquiring key assets, cutting costs. But how do you personally weigh those very real patent cliff risks against what looks like a clear undervaluation and that promising oncology-focused pipeline? It's definitely something to mull over, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Looking at a company like Pfizer, right in the middle of such a major strategic shift, it makes you think, doesn't it? It highlights how crucial adaptability and innovation are when facing big known challenges. That ability to navigate the headwinds really shapes long-term value.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this look into Pfizer. We hope you found it insightful and useful for your own thinking. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed the conversation.